certainly trying to come to terms with that assault. I mean, if anybody saw that video, it was very hard to comprehend how one person can dish out so many slaps in a space of, less than 2 or 3 minutes. But, the people who broke the story are here with us in the studio. Samuel Ogundikwe is head of breaking news at Premium Times. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much, Mokwe, for having me.
That was certainly a very touching video you
shared.
Pretty
much, yeah.
Are you overwhelmed by the reaction that you have seen from Nigerians?
Oh, well, there just has to be a time when people will say, look, enough is enough. I mean, Nigerians have actually taken a lot, in terms of harassment, from people who feel that they are, above basic decency or ethics of the society. So, yeah, quite a good reactions coming from Nigerians. I just hope that it will deter future repetition.
One of the things I was looking out to see, because you were very clear on the person who was in the video, you were very clear on where he was, what he was doing at that point in time. One of the things I was thinking I might see, as is usually common, is that we might get a denial. Were you surprised when you heard the senator actually own up to saying, yes, it's me in the video, but it was an old video? That was his initial response, that it was an old video, only for us to find out that it was not so old. It was in March this year. Were you surprised that he owned up to it?
No, at all. I wasn't surprised because he couldn't have denied unless he wants to further aggravate Nigerians. So because
because his face wasn't very visible in that video.
It was at some point.
Okay.
And of course, people know him, right? So people who have been with him personally, people who have spent time, with him over the years. People with him he had worked. I mean, there's no doubt about his identity. I mean, while we were doing our internal checks, before publication, of course, questions were raised, by senior editors that, look, how could we be absolutely sure that this gentleman is actually the one, so which we did, and then it was the one, and the source and other people who are witnesses to we track them down and then, get additional corroborations and all that. So, I mean, they were reluctant to talk, but I made them understand, look, at Premium Times, we are not looking now to sensationalize your story and all that. This is a serious matter of, public importance, and we just have to bring this out. Reluctance even from the victims, the lawyers and all that. As you can see, they didn't actually cooperate before the publication, but we felt that we owe it to the public to bring this matter out.
So we also understand that the matter was reported to the police, I think in Maitama Division of the Nigeria Police Force. How would you describe the reaction or the actions of the police so far?
Well, so far, since 2 days ago when the story broke off, since May 11 after the incident. The incident was actually reported on May 14, based on what I learned, but the police asked the victim and the lawyer to go and look for the contact of the senator, so that they will be able to invite him. Interestingly enough, after our publication, people now started calling him. That's how police do. That they do this thing regularly. When you have come to report somebody that, is up there and all that, or has a little bit of dollars or naira, in his pocket and all that. So they always say, oh, they can't reach the person. They don't know how to contact the person. They're always timid to go after such an individual. So they will ask the victim to go and look for the person's contact, or to go and drag the person. If you can bring the person here, we will. Kind of. So it's quite rather disappointing that our police will do that. I mean, at the Maitama Area Command, at that, you can't have it more elitist than that, right? I mean, the police, you expected them to ordinarily conduct themselves better.
At least if they're shy in some outskirts.
Yes.
Right in Maitama, the police there should feel empowered.
That's it. The area commander should have immediately, a senator is involved in this level of assault. No, he has to be here. He has to be here. He has to at least give account of what he had done. But you just place the people, you just sent them on a wild goose chase. They had no idea how to contact the senator right until after I got on the story.
So
and
now,
when I told them I'd reached the senator, they were like, "You've reached him?" I said, "Yeah, I mean, the police could also have reached him. He's a senator, for crying out loud."
Okay, so what has the reaction, has their reaction changed now since the story has broken?
Immediately, I mean, in fact, even before, of course, before we published, sorry, I immediately reached out to the commissioner. You know, I reached out to the PRO initially, and he said, no, he wasn't aware. Then I asked the commissioner immediately that, Mr. Commissioner, are you aware of this incident? Was it ever escalated to you? And he said, no, he wasn't. But that I should tell, because I know, I mean, the commissioner was like, I can't tell Premium Times not to go ahead with their story. That would be almost impossible, right? But let the lady reach out to me. You know, he was actually trying to see whether he could mediate before publication, but I told him that I'm afraid. But he said, that's fine, we know that. But let her see me by 2 p.m. today. That was just when I called him in the morning before publication. So by the time we published, I think around 1 p.m. or thereabouts, the commissioner had already been in touch with the victim's lawyer, and then they were on their way to see him at the command headquarters.
Interestingly, the senator has issued an apology, but he's apologizing to Nigerians. One would think that he'll be apologizing to the person involved.
Well, I mean, quite fairly, he apologized also specifically to the lady. He got the lady's name from me. You know, her name is Dibra. So, and then he issued specific apology to her alongside what he, you know, the mea culpa that he showed was Nigerians and all that. So, but people are saying the apology did not go enough, you know, that he should have, I mean, by order, it should have been the lady first, the victim first, and then others, but notwithstanding.
The victim first? I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, like, the woman should have come first in his apology, like, you know, the sequence. So, but he put, you know, others, the Christian body, blah, 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 ahead. Then the lady, I think Bibra came last in his apology. But people are saying it should have been the woman first and other, but that's just basic semantics.
How do you think we should proceed then? Because some people will now say, but he apologized. Isn't this still criminal?
Well, it's still criminal, basically, because when my source reached out about the story, you know, the source was like, look, we are going to give you the story because this man, what he did, he has also been threatening. You know, he had been to the shop after the assault to see whether to say that, oh, I learned that you people have a CCTV, right? Where is the footage? How can I obtain it? And they told him that, look, we have, yes, but it wasn't recording. So he actually knew the gravity of what he had, you know, done. Yeah. So and then he didn't want to get into a mess, you know, going forward. So the source told me that, look, I'm going to give it because it's a criminal offense that what he had done. I know that you Premium Times are not going to cover it up. You are not going to reveal me that I'm the source. I could trust you that much. So that's the basic reason why I'm going to give you, because I know that you are not going to see him and collect anything from him. So the trust was there that the person was very specific that, look, this is a criminal offense. He actually has legal background, right? So, and then immediately after while we were publishing, we were checking the laws, the aspect of the law. You know, of course, no clear-cut provisions, you know, in some of the statutes that we have about this kind of certificate approach. But the criminal code and penal code applicable in Abuja, you know, for northern Nigeria, actually also, you know, stated some things about assault, and even in the criminal code also, assault is actually a criminal offense, notwithstanding. So, and of course, the police have always followed up on assault, violence against women, anybody. It's an offense against the state. Mm-hmm. Top legal professors agree with this. So there's no doubt about that. What people are saying is that, look, while if he apologizes and even compensates the victim, he has only handled the civil aspect of the matter. You know, so the criminal aspect is he will now have to face the police and, you know, clear himself out of the mess with the police. But notwithstanding, he has a case to answer on both ends, civil and criminal aspect of the law. Just
quickly, would you say that attitudes are changing in Nigeria with regards to violence, not just against women, which is extremely important, you know, but in terms of violence in general, you know, on people, especially who are vulnerable, who could be vulnerable people?
Social media now helps to amplify, you know, situations, right, that ordinarily you probably wouldn't have rants about. But when he apologized yesterday, he said it was the first time. I mean, like, this should not define me. This is not the first time and all that. But this is what people like that that's what they always say. It's my first time whenever anyone is caught in such a mess that, you know, it's my first time. But we are even reading again now in today's Punch that he actually assaulted a photographer, a journalist, you know. So that's, you know, to tell you to a large extent that, look, it probably might not be the first time that he had done it. So in the society at large, people will say it's first time. Some will say, oh, I mean, now this old thing, the whole idea of people condemning it and all that, I hope it actually goes, you know, further deeper than that, you know, because people will condemn it in the public, meanwhile in private they're actually beasts themselves. So I hope people will now learn that, look, whatever I do in the modern age, I should be careful. If people could have that, I mean, if people could have that at the back of my mind, maybe the attitude, you know, this thing will improve, you know. But on the basis of this story, this single story, I am not able to say for sure. I mean, I'm not a scientist or, you know,
yes.
So I'm not able to say for sure that people's violent inclinations have, you know, that are increased, I mean, or improved.
Well, we want to hope that stories like this, especially when examples are made of them, will definitely begin to bring about the kind of attitudinal changes which we desire to see, especially from leadership.
Precisely so.
We have to thank you for coming on Sunrise Daily. Samuel Ogundikpe is the head of breaking news at Premium Times, and they brought that story to you. But
thank you very much.
Yes, yeah.